Anybody want to volunteer to start? Number one. You're not volunteering Avery to start? Okay, number one, what is the variable? This is Moses.
It's actually just x.
Yeah, the variable is x, just the letters. And then the constants are?
3 and negative 4.
Right. So when it says minus 4, think of that as a negative 4. As a constant. Variables are called variables because they change value. X can be a lot of different values. Okay, 3. Well, I'll just say this one. This is kind of a weird one. What's the difference between a constant? What do you guys know what a constant is?
Number.
Just a number. And a numerical coefficient. I think I mentioned coefficient once or twice. Do you guys remember what that is?
It's going to multiply by 3.
So on number one, the constant would be negative 4. The coefficient is 3. So it's like a constant that's multiplied to a variable, basically. So a constant is a number. And a coefficient is a number. The way the book said it, a constant is a fixed number, while a numerical coefficient is a constant factor in a term. Factor just means a multiplied value. Okay, anyways, number 5. Back to math. The product of 3 consecutive odds. Okay, we only kind of talked about this yesterday. So we're not solving this, by the way. It says translate each phrase into a
That's number 4.
algebraic. Oh, that's right. That is number 4. Let's do number 4 though. It says translate each phrase into a algebraic expression. So the product of 3 consecutive odd integers. Does anybody remember? Yesterday we talked about this. How do you write 3 consecutive odds or 3 consecutive evens, Jesse?
X plus 2 plus X plus 4.
Okay, it's not x plus 2. Yesterday it was because it said the sum. Okay, yeah. Odd and even numbers go up by 2. So the way that you can represent consecutive odds and evens is x plus 2, and x plus 4. But this problem says the product. So how do I do product of, what's product mean? Multiplication. So how am I going to show multiplication? Well, can't get them over there. When it's parentheses, you can just put them next to each other, right? That means multiply. So that would be the product of 3 consecutive odds. Okay, number 5. This is a weird one too. I don't know why they put this one in here, but what does the sum mean?
Addition.
Yeah, it means addition. So what are we adding? It says the complement of an angle and the supplement of an angle. You guys remember that from last year, maybe 2 years ago? It's okay. I don't really expect you to know it. It's a geometry thing. Complementary angles add up to 90, so the complement of an angle would be 90 minus the angle. and the supplements add up to 180, so to find the supplement of an angle, you do 180 minus the angle. Anyway, but sum means adding, so you just put a plus right there. Don't worry about the complement supplement thing. I don't really expect you to know that part. But you do need to know what sum means, you do need to know what product means, difference, less than, all that stuff. We'll talk about that more later. Number 7. Okay, 7 says evaluate each expression for each member of the domain, -4, 2, 3, 8. Avery, what do you think that means?
So you just plug in each of these numbers for the variable?
Yes. You guys remember doing that? You just plug in each number for the variable. So we got 4 numbers to plug in. We're going to have 4 different answers. So it says w squared minus 2w minus 1. And we're plugging in, the domain just means the numbers that you put in. -4, 2, 3, 8. So, okay, this one is the one that you can get wrong on the calculator. Because -4 squared, if you put that in the calculator, it'll be wrong. You guys remember why?
Because you just squared the whole thing.
Right, because you want to square all of -4, not just the 4. And if you don't put parentheses around. But what is -4 squared?
16.
16 minus 2 times -4 should be plus 8. And then minus 1. So 16 plus 8 is 24, minus 1 is 23. Maybe I shouldn't circle that. That's only the first answer. Okay, then if we plug in 2, what's 2 squared? 4 minus 2 times 2. So minus 4 minus 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. Minus 1 is -1. If I plug in 3, what's 3 squared? 9. 2 times 3 is 6. So 9 minus 6 minus 1. 9 minus 6 is 3. Minus 1 is 2. If we plug in 8, what's 8 squared? 64 minus 2 times 8. That'd be minus 16, minus 1. 64 minus 16 is 48. Minus 1 is 47. So those are the 4. Any questions on that one? Number 9. Okay, evaluate again. This time we have different variables, x, y, and z. So we're just going to plug those in. So we got 2 times 3 plus 3 times -4 minus 6 times 2. Okay, so I multiplied first, 2 times 3, 3 times -4, -6 times 2. So 6 plus -12 is -6, minus 12 is -18. If you just plug this in your calculator, it should work fine. Calculator can do order of operations. This is, yeah. Okay. 11, 5x squared. So it's 5 times 3 squared for x plus 2 times 3 plus 7. I'm not looking at that one. Okay, so we got 5 times, well, what should we do first, order of operations?
Exponents.
Exponent. So 3 squared is 9, 2 times 3 is 6. So multiply comes next, 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, I already multiplied that one. So 45 plus 6 is 51. 51 plus 7 is 58. Now what are we doing? Okay, this will probably confuse everybody. This is just using formulas. Okay, let's read it. What it says. The formula for the distance that a dropped object falls when air resistance is negligible, means when you're not worried about air resistance, is D equals 1/2 GT squared. Let me write that one down. D equals, 1/2 GT squared. All right. Anybody want to guess what the D stands for?
Drop.
Distance, kind of like a drop, yeah. The distance the item is going to drop. Well, this one, what do you think the G stands for? Yeah. So this would be like, gravity on the moon is different. If you drop something on the moon, it's not going to fall as fast. T, time, probably time in seconds, right? Because it doesn't take stuff very long to fall. So they're probably going to tell us what the stuff is. Find the distance each object falls in 3 seconds when dropped. So what should I do with the 3? That would be our time. So I'm just going to plug in 3, and that was in the direction, so you have to use that for number 13 and number 12. Our time is going to be 3 seconds. On 13, though, it says, on the moon, where G equals 5 1/3 feet per second. Well, what should I do with the 5 1/3? Put it in for G. 5 1/3 is the gravity. It's how many feet something should fall per second on the moon. And then T was the time, which they told us in the directions was supposed to be 3. So the distance the object falls, we just plug the numbers in and work it out. See, if I had to do this by hand, I would change this to an improper. 3 times 5 plus 1, 16 thirds. 3 squared is 9, or 9/1. You guys remember you can reduce fractions when you multiply? 16 divided by 2, 8. So we have 1 times 8 times 3. And 1 times 1 times 1. So the object should drop 24, I guess we're talking about feet here. Alright, so let's just plug stuff in. Okay, number 15. Alright, Miranda, it says simplify on 15. Do you know how we could simplify that? Do you remember doing these? Right. Put the ones that are the same together. So, I don't know, I guess we'll go alphabetically here. So I see a 1m minus 4m minus 6m. So 1 minus 4 is -3, minus 6 is Negative 9m. And Miranda, how about the ends?
3n.
3n. Since it's positive, we'll put plus 3n. Okay. Sophia, how about this one? Okay. What about this parentheses though? Do we need to worry anything about that?
No.
Well, if there's a minus in front of parentheses, what do we need to do? Yeah, we need to subtract both of these. So it's not minus 4a plus 3b. It's actually minus 4a minus 3b. So that's what it would look like without parentheses. All right. How many a's do we have? 2 minus 4 minus 6. Negative 8. And then this guy's left over, minus 3b. Okay, yeah. You guys remember distributive property? Make sure you subtract everything in parentheses there. Flip both those. Okay, 19. Oof, it's a big one. Did I tell you guys it's a 2-day assignment? Did I mention that yesterday? How far should we get? What's about halfway? Maybe. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we won't have as much time, and there's work problems also. Let's try to go to like 25 today. Should be good. That might be a little too far. That's okay. Anyway, we're working on this tomorrow. All right. Whew, it's a big one. All right, Lauren, any ideas?
X, you add the like terms.
Yeah, you do, but what should we do first? Well, we should do like in brackets and parentheses first, right? Can I do anything inside this parentheses?
No.
No. So
Brian's at the door.
let's let's see, I kind of lost where it was. Oh, so what can we do inside the brackets here?
4x and
Right. So we got 4x minus 8x. Let's go ahead and do that. What's that? 4x minus 8x is, yeah. And then we have a plus 2y, and what else?
a negative 9, or
It's actually a minus 9y. So it's actually a plus 9y. So what is 2y plus 9y? So plus 11y. Okay, this one's kind of tricky again because there's also a minus right there. It's gonna maybe fool us again. Okay, so we simplified the bracket first. Now, we've got x, and then what else?
A positive.
A plus 4x, right? Because minus minus, so that is 5x. And we have a plus 3y and a what?
Oh.
Minus. Brackets are just like parentheses, so you have to subtract everything in there. Just like we had to subtract both those things. So that's actually a minus 11y. So 3y minus 11y. Yeah. That was definitely a landmine. Tricky, isn't it? Tricky. Alright. Well, Manny, are you guys done with that one? What do you think they want us to do on 21?
They want us to see if the answer for the variable is the equation.
Right. So they want, it's like they found the answer already on 21 and they want us to check and see if it's right. So, kind of like before, we're just going to plug in the answer, y equals 1/2, and see if it actually works. So 2/3 times, sorry, replace the y with the 1/2 answer, minus 3/4, and we're supposed to say, does that actually equal negative 5/12? Question mark. It's like a yes or no answer. Well, do you guys think you could do this one by hand? Multiply, those go away. How do we subtract fractions? Common denominator, yeah. Which is 12, right? So I multiply by 4 and 3. So I get 4/12 minus 9/12, which is 4 minus 9. Okay, so what, were they right?
Yep.
Yes. They did put negative 5/12. Alright, 23. Actually, it gets a lot easier at 23. Y plus 0.38. We'll just do a couple more here. Brian, this is a 2-day assignment. So we're gonna kind of split it a little bit. Alright, Brian, what's the step to solve this one for y? Well, yeah, you don't have to do it yet, just tell me. So the direction switched to solve because now we're trying to solve equations, not plug stuff in. But how do we solve for y? How do we figure out what y is? Okay, we gotta get y by itself. Right, minus 0.38. If you're doing this by hand, remember, you have to line up the decimals. So it looks kind of like that. And we get 8.32. Make sure you're showing your work, especially on this part. You guys have been doing pretty well. I don't want you to stop doing that. I want to keep in the habit. Even though I know 23 and 25, these are kind of easy, but for when they get harder later on, I want us to be able to work it out step by step. All right, Jonathan, James, what's the step on this one?
Subtract 3 1.
All right, we're gonna get rid of our plus or minus first. That doesn't look like it's gonna work. Did I copy it right?
It's 165.
165. Okay, some of these are fractions and decimals. Is 169?
165.
Fine. Okay, some of these are fractions and decimals, but not yet.
This is gonna be a 2 papers.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Well, you can use the back of the page.
Oh,
6 goes into 14 twice with the remainder of 2. 6 goes into 24. You guys remember short division? Maybe not. Okay, we will stop there and then we'll do the harder equations tomorrow. What's the step on number 22? How do we solve 22? Divide by 4 4/7. So that means -6/5 divided by 4 4/7, not the other way around.